Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me, Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show.
Hello, welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 247, The Lady from Shanghai. My name is Eric.
My name is Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Eric.
How are you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
I am doing okay. I almost could not remember the name of this movie, and that has happened several times already.
I got concerned that maybe I'd watched the wrong movie for a moment. I don't know why. I think because when I picked it last week, I've got my little list of movies that are potential podcast picks, and I had originally been planning to pick a different one, and then I sort of called an audible at the last minute and was like, no, let's go Lady from Shanghai.
All right.
So I was briefly confused, but I'm glad we both watched the same movie.
Yeah, I think we did. I will admit that I went to look for it and totally forgot what we were supposed to be watching. Somehow I managed to remember it. I'm sorry, the cat is doing something weird.
That's fine.
It's distracting. Anyway.
Gosh, I understand. I mean, the good news is if you do completely forget what we're watching, we record what we're talking about, so you could always go back and listen to it.
That would require me to listen to it, though.
That's fair. You could also ask me.
Yeah, and I have, I think, in the past.
You have a couple times, yeah, just to verify.
Yep. But even once I remembered it and I added it to my watch list, even going to Amazon and seeing it there as the next thing in my watch list, I still forgot.
We're like, what is this doing here?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before. Orson Welles, the guy from Transformers? I just figured we'd get the Transformers reference out of the way early.
No, that's
this
good.
Time.
Sure, yeah. Still his best movie yet.
Yeah.
We have watched a couple of Orson Welles movies now, and or Orson Welles adjacent movies, and yeah, still Transformers tops the list.
I would of the ones that we have watched, I think I would agree with you. Certainly, none of them has a ballad as memorable as The Touch.
That is.
Maybe that's what this movie needed, was this scene of Rita Hayworth on a boat singing The Touch.
I would say that you could say that for any movie.
That's true.
If you just throw The Touch into any movie, it's going to automatically improve it.
I thought you meant specifically Rita Hayworth on a boat singing it.
Well, I mean, that doesn't hurt either.
It's like Star Wars, and then in the background, Rita Hayworth floats by on a boat, singing The Touch. All right.
You know what?
Odd choice, George, but let's go with it.
I'm not opposed to that either, honestly.
It's Rita Hayworth on a boat singing The Touch is the new Bernie Sanders at the inauguration meme.
Oh, good, because it's only been a day and I'm already tired of it.
Yeah. It's, I feel like yesterday, so we're recording the day after the inauguration.
Yes. Trump got inaugurated, finally.
Yeah, I mean, Trump wearing Joe Biden's face was inaugurated for his second term.
Yes, yes.
Uh, but yeah, I think everyone was just like it was probably the relief that Trump was no longer president and there was no like horrific violence during or directly around the inauguration, and I feel like that relief manifested itself in look at Bernie Sanders slumped in his chair. Here he is crossing the Delaware with George Washington. Here he is on the deck of the Titanic, just like let's put him everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone had a bunch of nervous energy that they didn't know what to do with, and they directed it at that meme.
I guess so. But yeah, boy, it got old fast.
It did. I made a couple of them, I will admit.
Well, I saw you post something about the Dr. Manhattan meme.
I did. That, oh my god, that is my ongoing crusade, is to erase the horrible version of the Dr. Manhattan meme that's out there with the bad lettering and the incorrect text. My mission, if I could do a Wanda Maximoff or a Thanos finger snap for anything, it would be to replace that terrible meme with the actual, lettering and quote from Watchmen.
All right.
That's what I would do with my absolute power, is I would correct memes.
But just make sure that you do not credit the original writer.
No, I would credit it as the original writer.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Yes, that's exactly what I meant.
Yeah. No, I made one with Bernie in the Black Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And then this morning I made one that I didn't share because I thought it might be a little too niche. I took a scene from Weekend at Bernie's and I replaced Bernie with Bernie.
All right. I don't see how that's niche at all.
I mean, it's not, like an iconic scene or anything from that movie. It's just like a screen grab I could find.
Okay. Right.
Where they had Bernie's corpse sitting. And I was like, oh, this would be easy enough to do, so.
I mean, was Jonathan Silverman and Andrew McCarthy in the scene as well?
Yes, yeah,
Oh.
they're all on a boat.
That's perfectly fine then.
All right, I've
The
never seen
context
Weekend
is
at Bernie's.
Neither
Okay.
have I. My next pick. That's it.
Perfect. All right, we'll see you next week.
All right. Goodbye.
Well, good app.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take this off air here.
All right.
Fuck. I don't think we talked about the movie at all.
No, why we talked about it in the pantheon of Orson Welles movies that we've watched. In comparison to Transformers, I think we covered it.
All right. Fair.
No, we should probably actually talk about it.
All right.
If for no other reason than I really want to talk about Orson Welles' accent.
You mean when he remembers to do it?
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say that was I was not expecting that first thing in the movie.
Yeah, it took me aback for sure. Like the combination of his just atrocious, spotty Irish accent, and then just the fact that all of his lines were recorded afterwards, so they didn't always line up with his mouth movements. Like, it really threw me.
I did not notice that, actually.
It's mostly in, like, the scenes where he's, straight on the camera or whatever, where it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than scenes where, like, the opening scene is he's, like, driving the carriage with with Rita Hayworth in the carriage, and I feel like I noticed it a lot during that sequence that it didn't seem like his mouth movements were quite lining up with what he was saying.
Okay, I didn't. I feel like maybe I did notice it here and there throughout the movie, but it wasn't. It wasn't ever distracting anyway.
Yeah, it's just I feel like that's something that I pick up on, and that bugs me.
It's like me in comics, and lately I've just been really getting bothered by bad lettering.
Yeah,
and there's a lot out there.
Bad lettering is really, there's nothing that takes me out of a comic faster. Yep. You know, the art can be spectacular, but if the lettering's bad, boy, I just cannot get into it.
Yep.
What have you read lately that has bad lettering?
Oh boy, I recently read a Steve Ditko archive of his Charlton work.
Right.
Like Captain Atom, Blue Beetle. Most of that was just terrible. Partly because it's like that typewritten thing that they just kind of paste on the art.
Yeah.
But there are also just some real weird choices that were made there. Like as far as like balloon shape and placements, and also just Steve Ditko writing is not great. But like for modern comics, like I read the Next Batman Future State thing.
Yeah,
that had some bad lettering choices in it, and
I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, it bothers me quite a bit. And similar choices. I don't know, even maybe it was the same letterer, I'm not sure, but in the King in Black Gwenom versus Carnage one shot or whatever that was, that also had very similar weird choices being made throughout. So
all right,
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice it as much on those two books.
Yeah.
But, like, there are a couple books that I've read semi-recently that have had just, like, the font choice is really weird. That's mostly what does it for me.
Yeah. I just read one today. Like, the book was fine, and, like, as far as, like, the actual dialogue, the lettering was perfect.
Yeah.
But for like the captions, they chose to go with like a typewritten, like almost courier type font.
Okay.
It's also very small. It was hard to get through at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that trouble with like a script font.
Yeah.
That doesn't always translate well, I feel like.
No, yeah, I've definitely seen a few like that as well. I know, like Sandman is thought of highly, but sometimes I know Todd Klein would like change the fonts for every character.
Yeah,
and sometimes some of the choices that he made were not that great.
Yeah,
usually, like you said, involving a script font.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
This is our font podcast.
I could easily do a font podcast.
This week, Comic Sans. Hot takes.
Here's my hot take. It's not as bad as you think.
Whoa.
Oh, I know.
You're going to get canceled, buddy.
That's fine. I deserve it for other things, but if that's what gets me, I'm okay with it.
You should start an unpopular font opinion Twitter meme. Like, what's your unpopular font opinion? Mine is Comic Sans isn't that bad.
Yeah. Papyrus, A-OK.
Wingdings are super fun. Oh, the lady from Shanghai.
Yeah. So, man, this movie has some weird choices in it.
Yeah, it's, I thought it was kind of dull, to be completely honest.
I didn't find it dull. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think maybe it takes a little while to get going with the I guess main plot of the movie.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Because it's not long. But I mean, I did feel for like at least the first third of it, I was just kept thinking to myself, where is this going?
Right. What is this movie?
Yeah.
Like I almost expected it to be like I got real Double Indemnity vibes from it.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not really like that.
Yeah,
At least not, outwardly.
No.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I had trouble getting into it.
And yeah, that's fine. Because there are definitely stuff in it that took me out of it, but it was mostly just like performance choices, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And some weird tonal shifts.
Yeah, there's weird like comedy parts. I feel
like within like the first 10 minutes of the movie, I was like, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But then like it's not really that funny afterwards for most of the movie until like the courtroom scene, and then suddenly it's a comedy again.
Right? Yeah, the courtroom scene was really something.
Yeah.
As a connoisseur of courtroom scenes, that was very strange.
Yeah, I would say for me that was probably the low part of the movie.
Yeah. Which is weird because that's the part that I feel like had my attention the best. Like our hero is in peril now. He's
right.
on trial for murder. Like this is where it should really, the drama should really ramp up and the tension should ramp up. And yeah, it just kind of like is goofy and just a miss all around.
I mean, was it the random jurors just doing weird shit in the middle of like the questioning?
That didn't help.
Or was it the I guess main antagonist of the movie sort of doing a weird comedy shtick where he interrogates himself on the stand with his weird ass Marty Feldman eyes,
right? Yeah, I just got a real weird vibe from that guy the whole time.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is the point. In which case, well done.
Sure, he is one of Wells's go-to guys.
Oh yeah,
he was in Citizen Kane. He was part of the Mercury Theater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Which, like, after I read that he was in Citizen Kane, I was like, okay, yeah, I recognize that guy. Other than, like, me spending, like, 20 minutes wondering if that was actually Marty Feldman or not.
Right.
But I believe Marty Feldman would have been way too young.
Yeah, so, yeah, just, man.
But also, there's we get Orson Welles' action hero in this movie.
Right? Yeah, the fight sequence is exciting.
There's two of them.
Wait, when's the second or the first one?
The first one is like the very first scene when he's
Oh,
rescuing
yeah.
Rita Hayworth. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's thrilling.
I mean,
Clearly super exciting because I forgot all about it. Really sticks with you.
there's I mean, I would say this for a lot of older movies that the action sequences in a lot of even old action movies are not very exciting.
Yeah.
And I thought they were fairly competent in this.
Yeah, the one in the I guess it's in the judges' chambers.
Yeah.
I thought that one was actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
Just the physicality of it and smashing. They smashed a lot of stuff.
They sure did.
Yeah, no, I thought that was legitimately exciting.
And it did well for the tension of the scene and where the movie was going at the time.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I did have like the stuff leading up to it is kind of ludicrous.
Well, yeah.
he grabs, I don't know, like 5 aspirin off the table in an attempted suicide.
I think they were supposed to be more powerful than aspirin, but yeah, that's exactly what he does.
I mean, you're probably right, but the bottle wasn't labeled.
No,
and his lawyer, Arthur Bannister, was just taking them willy nilly. So
well,
I don't know. I thought maybe he just had a headache.
They're for his pain.
Oh,
that
okay.
He apparently is constantly in.
Gotcha.
Alluded to earlier in the movie when Rita Hayworth mentions that she has often thought about taking his pain pills to kill herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that was set up earlier, and
yes, it was. Yeah.
I again forgot about it.
To be fair, that did kind of happen in one of the least interesting sections of the movie. Basically, the entire time that they're traveling.
Right. They spend a lot of time on that boat.
Yeah, they do. So, I don't know. Is there a plot to this movie?
Ish, I think. I feel like it's explained within the last 2 minutes of the movie what the plot is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wells is plays Mike O'Hara.
Yep, an Irishman from Ireland.
An Irishman from Ireland, even.
Authentically
yes.
from Ireland.
That's right. Faith and Begora. And he's also a seaman. Tee-hee-hee. Who he meets Rita Hayworth's Elsa Bannister in Central Park, and he saves her from some ruffians. And they sort of strike up a relationship, I guess, or just a flirtatious thing.
Yeah.
And then the next day, he is recruited to be a crewman on his or her husband's boat.
Yes.
And then, yeah, like we said, they spend a lot of time on the boat.
Yep. And going to, Mexico, I guess?
I guess, yeah.
Spanish-speaking places.
Right.
Yeah. And they also meet Grigsby.
Yes.
The weirdest fucking guy in the world.
Yeah, that guy is super strange. and really, really interesting and entertaining to watch, but would not want to be in the same room with that guy.
No, he is very sweaty. And just awkward and uncomfortable. just made me uncomfortable watching him.
As you describe him, I realize that he is me.
You
Sweaty and awkward.
You don't sweat that much.
I don't know, it depends on the circumstance.
At least not publicly.
Alright, I've revealed too much about myself. I mean, did they meet him on the boat? Like, does he takes like a little speedboat up to the boat? Is that what happens?
Yep.
Yeah, that's real strange.
Yep. And then just immediately just starts being super weird to Orson Welles.
Yeah, just creeping on him immediately.
Yeah, just like almost suggestively.
I definitely got a vibe from that for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, at first I thought it was, you know, towards Rita Hayworth's character, but I mean, no, there's definitely something else going on there.
Yeah, there's, I'd say, some homoerotic vibes, not just from him, but even from Bannister as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the scene where they are in Acapulco, I believe, and Bannister and Grisby are drunk, and Michael O'Hara tells them the story about the sharks very subtly. Like that whole sequence and interaction with those characters is just very off.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just so the scene where Grigsby, like he had been hinting up to that point a couple of times about, you know, some sort of possible murder plot in play. When he finally tells Michael about it, that he wants Michael to kill him. And they're like walking around, and I thought, like, because they walk up to this cliff, and I thought that, I thought he was going to jump off the cliff.
I definitely thought he was going to jump off the cliff too. And like the way that it plays out, like he says, you know, like, I want you to kill me.
Yeah.
And then like goes out of frame.
Yeah.
But I felt like you couldn't tell that he was, you know, that he hadn't jumped.
Right.
It was very dramatic and somewhat disorienting.
And the way that he also disappears out of frame by saying really quick, "See ya, fella."
Right.
It's like, what the hell just happened?
That's actually how I'm going to start leaving rooms from now on. I mean, the only person that I see is Jenny. But, you know, every time I leave the room, "See ya, fella." I can guarantee you she's going to love it.
I can imagine.
I'll let you know how that goes.
No, please keep us posted.
I'm going to make a note to myself so I don't forget to do this.
Excellent. I will text you daily to remind you.
Please do.
So the plot from there is that Grigsby wants Michael to kill him, but it's a complicated ruse.
Right, it's an insurance scam, basically.
Yeah, essentially. It reminded me a lot of sort of the plot of Fletch.
Okay. I haven't seen Fletch.
Oh, okay. It's a rich man hires Fletch to kill him, but it's, you know, an insurance scam, basically.
Gotcha.
But then, you know, as with everything, everything goes horribly wrong. And,
yeah, I mean, that happens.
Yeah, and what was supposed to be a ruse actually winds up in an actual murder, and the wrong people get murdered, and the wrong people get accused, and it winds up in the weirdest, most comical trial ever put to film outside of My Cousin Vinny.
Right. And there were no youths involved in this trial.
Nope, no Utes whatsoever.
Excuse me?
Ute?
Like from Utah?
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm part of it too. Is that Bannister knows that O'Hara and his wife have been canoodling.
Sure.
So he's not exactly motivated to win the trial.
Right.
Now that I think about it, that may account for some of the nonsense that happens during the trial. But it's still, there's enough else going on that it's all just it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, when the plot is the scheme is laid out, like, it's almost one twist too many.
Yeah.
And just everything leading up to it, just feels like a bit much. Like him hiding out in the Chinese theater.
Yeah. That was real weird.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's culturally insensitive. It feels like it is. But maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, the thought that I had while watching it was that it at least appears that the actors were actually Chinese.
Yeah.
And not just white people pretending.
Yeah.
So
that was heartening.
Yeah, that made me feel not great, but better about it.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, you're right there. The twists sort of compound towards the end, like we. Yeah. So Michael, as the jury comes back to render their verdict, takes a handful of pills in an apparent attempted suicide, but it's all just a ruse so that he can escape. And he does manage to escape, and he and Elsa behind him manage to get over to the Chinese theater. And then while they're there, Michael, I guess, did he know that Elsa was the actual murderer before that point, or did he just figure it out when he finds the gun in her bag?
I feel like he had figured it out.
Okay.
Because he mentions needing to find the gun in order to prove his innocence, and
yeah,
then just like goes into her bag and finds the gun.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, he knew that she had done the murders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he grabs the gun. How does she get it back from him? Oh, that's right. He passes out because of the pills.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
And then she and her, I guess, servants.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
To take him to an abandoned amusement park,
yep.
Which, as they note, is a good place to hide out.
Sure. I mean, that's why the Joker does it,
That was literally exactly what I thought. Like, yeah, the Joker agrees with you. That is a good place to hide out. Like, all it needed was Commissioner Gordon in a cage in weird bondage gear.
Only in our imaginations.
That'll be the new Bernie meme. Oh. But I thought that whole sequence at the amusement park and, in the crazy house and the Hall of Mirrors was really cool.
I did as well.
The crazy house part in particular, when he's just like tumbling around and going down the slide, like that just looked really neat and was, just visually really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the whole movie looks great.
Yeah.
I think, other than, some weird choices made by a couple of actors and his spotty Irish accent, I think the performances were all very good otherwise.
Right. Rita Hayworth is fantastic.
She is fantastic, and I totally get why Andy Dufresne would have a poster of her in his cell.
She is very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've only seen her in one other thing, which is like her first big movie, which is Gilda.
Okay.
And she's very good in that too. I had forgotten that she has like a big singing number in that as well before when she sings in this movie. I was like, oh yeah, of course they'd get her. But then I saw that they dubbed her voice for this movie, so who knows?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's weird.
I thought it was weird too.
Huh. Yeah. If I have ever seen her in another movie, I am unaware. And I did not look up her filmography to see if there was anything that rang a bell or not.
Yeah. I know that in Mulholland Drive, the amnesiac character takes the name Rita after seeing the poster for Gilda.
Okay.
So, little David Lynch connection there, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, literally before this, the only thing I knew about her was that, Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
The Stephen King short story.
Right. Which was called the poster of Rita Hayworth, right?
It was called Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that is what it's called. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay. I thought you were just saying a sentence.
No. I mean, I do at times.
Right. Occasionally. I have heard you speak in complete sentences.
Every once in a while.
You wouldn't get it from listening to this podcast.
No, not at all.
But we both speak in complete sentences sometimes.
Yep.
And?
Sure.
Semicolon. I did read that there was almost a remake of this movie.
I did read that as well, yeah.
In the late 90s.
Yep. With Brendan Fraser?
Yes, and Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yep.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. I like most of those people.
Yeah, I don't know, like... I assume Brendan Fraser doing an Irish accent in the Orson Welles role would have been interesting.
Sure. I mean, who's to say that, they would have just done away with that altogether,
It's true. Probably for the best, honestly.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was talking to a friend about Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff accent in the lead up to WandaVision last week.
All right.
And just how spotty and weird that has been in previous things. So I was glad to see it more or less gone from the first couple episodes of WandaVision, though I did read that it may come back.
Okay.
As things get resolved.
Huh. Because I remember she has it in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But I remember reading something about, like in the follow-up movies that she had been in, like she got rid of it because, she's assimilating to American life.
Okay.
But, I don't know.
I remember it sort of coming in and out
Okay.
in the other movies, so maybe that is part of it. I don't know.
Who
Maybe
knows?
it's an acting choice.
It could be. I mean, yeah, it's not a great accent
Yeah.
for, a weird made up country.
What? I've been to Sokovia.
Okay.
So yeah, The Lady from Shanghai.
Yeah, for the most part, I did enjoy it. Definitely in the new to me Orson Welles oeuvre, not the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was entertained for the most part. If not, half of that time spent, thinking, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I feel like it was probably the middle part of it that sort of lost me. But yeah, the parts that did hold my attention well held my attention well and were entertaining, if completely strange.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like it was worth it just for the last sequence, the amusement park sequence, because that was really cool.
It was definitely the best part of the movie, for sure.
And I can see why the sort of Hall of Mirrors thing became a trope afterwards.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would say it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go out of your way, but if you're in the mood for some classic noir, you can do worse.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So I think we may have both watched another movie over the past week.
Okay.
At least when I tweeted about it, it seemed like you had seen it.
If you're talking about Promising Young Woman?
Yes, that is what I'm talking about.
Yes, I have seen it.
What did you think of that?
I really enjoyed that movie.
I did too.
I would... It's weird because it's also another movie where, like, for the most part, I was watching it wondering what in the hell was happening.
Right.
But, and also, like, without spoiling it, since it is new and not a lot of people have seen it.
Right.
The ending of it bummed me the fuck out.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
Yeah, it is. It's a super bummer.
I've done a lot of reading of people's readings of the ending, basically, just to sort of, I feel like I'm still coming to terms with it.
Right.
Like I liked it, but yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, because just wanting to root for the main character and the ending that she is given is not great. But also, she still
It's
wins.
not satisfying.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It reminded me of did you ever see $1 Million Baby?
I have not, no.
Okay, but you know the story of it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it reminded me of, I remember seeing $1 Million Baby, not knowing anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when she gets injured and is paralyzed,
right,
like the movie just completely changes.
Mm-hmm.
And Promising Young Woman, like the last act of it, I guess, reminded me a lot of that feeling that I had when I saw $1 Million Baby the first time. Like I hated the ending of $1 Million Baby at the time.
Sure.
I haven't revisited it, but I can respect what it was doing,
right?
And I feel the same way about, or I think I do anyway, about the ending of Promising Young Woman.
You saying that you hated the ending of Million Dollar Baby because of the shift, I guess, like makes me think that in the moments of watching Promising Young Woman, when the last 10-20 minutes of it or so happen, like I did hate it in that moment.
Yeah.
I was with this movie all the way up until then, and then that happens, and then I was just like, why? And it was upsetting, but, I think it's purposefully supposed to be upsetting.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I would highly recommend that movie for sure.
I would as well, yeah.
A lot of really great performances in it, and just really well done, and it's so many different types of movies all at once too.
Yeah, it's really interestingly constructed.
Yeah, like there's moments where you think it's a horror movie. There's moments where you think it's just a romantic comedy. It is just it's great.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
No, yeah, that's fine. So anything bringing you any kind of joy this week?
Not really that I can think of. Other than, I guess, the inauguration and Trump no longer being the president.
I mean, that's pretty great.
It is pretty great. I still feel a lot of dread.
Sure.
And just stress, but that's one less thing to worry about for the moment. He doesn't have the nuclear codes anymore, so
yeah. I felt bad because on Inauguration Day, like I tweeted a bunch of just cynical, negative shit, and I was like, so many people are just feeling good, and I was like, I should just let them have the day, but like, it's not a fix.
No, yeah.
We as a country are severely fucking broken. And just because, we got an okay person like in the White House now doesn't fix anything.
Yeah.
The things that are horribly wrong with us are still horribly wrong with us and can only get worse. So it's hard for me to be super cheerful about it when I just know that people are probably just gonna try to sweep it under the rug and ignore the last 4 years.
Right.
And that is absolutely the last thing that we should be doing.
Yeah, agreed. I was glad to hear during his inauguration address that he specifically called out white supremacy and all of that as ongoing things.
Yeah.
And not just like he's talking about unity too, but it sounds like, come together, but recognize that there are these problems that still need to be addressed.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It brought me a degree of happiness this week, I guess.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah. What about you?
I go for superficial joy whenever I can. There's a show that I've been watching on Netflix. I've been watching it for a while. I discovered it last spring. But I've talked about Taskmaster before.
Yes.
The host of it he's been on a couple of different shows and sitcoms. But there's one in particular that I've been watching called Man Down.
Okay.
Greg Davies is the star of it, and I've been watching the final season of it. There's only 4 seasons, but it has just been particularly even more hilarious, the final season, and just makes me laugh like a madman when I watch it. So
that's awesome.
So that is what's bringing me joy this week.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. Not deep, not philosophical, but just Stupidity at its best.
There's nothing that says anything has to be deep or philosophical.
I know.
We're all just doing what we can to get by.
Yeah, that is true.
Do you want to pick a movie for next week?
Sure. Before I do, I want to relate something that actually has to do with this movie that we watched.
Ooh, okay.
Something that I found out totally independently of us watching this movie.
Interesting. Okay.
So one thing we didn't mention is that Orson Welles was married to Rita Hayworth at one time.
Right.
And I believe it was after this movie, shortly after they got divorced. But prior to their relationship, Orson Welles had a relationship with a woman by the name of Mila Nurmi.
Okay.
Who is better known to the world as Vampira.
Oh, wow.
The one of the first late night TV horror hosts, and also the star of Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yes, I do remember seeing this now.
Yes. And so it turns out that while they were in a relationship together, Vampira got pregnant. Then Orson Welles left her, and so she put the child up for adoption. And apparently she's got a biography of her coming out soon.
Yeah.
And the writer of the biography found out about this and found the child that she gave up for adoption, who had no idea that his parents are the creators of horror host and Citizen Kane.
Yeah, it's an incredible story.
And he's like 79 years old or something like that. Yeah.
I didn't see if he had any kids or grandkids of his own, but just like the idea of out of the blue, like, oh yeah, you're related to Orson Welles.
Yep.
Is just baffling, mind-boggling.
And so that sort of relates to both the movie that we just watched and the movie I'm going to pick.
Ooh, Plan 9?
No.
Okay. Good.
You seem to have a habit of wanting to pick these prestigious classic movies. And I always want to bring us down with some just low-grade trash. And so I'm going to pick a movie that surely was broadcast on a vampire television show at some point.
Okay.
I believe this movie is on HBO Max, which I think you probably still have.
I do, yes.
Okay. You didn't do a free trial and bail?
No, not just for Wonder Woman.
Okay. The 1958 classic movie, The Blob.
Oh, nice.
Starring Steve McQueen.
That's awesome. I've never seen that.
I never have either.
Excellent.
So yeah, that is what I would like to watch next week.
That is a fantastic pick.
All right.
I look forward to watching that.
Excellent. All right.
All right. Well.
Good luck, America.
Yeah. And to you I say, see ya, fella.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.